Hi, good morning. It's Wednesday morning and it's September 7th. And I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light, and I'm coming to you live from New York. How are you today? Did you crack open that beautiful glowing light in your heart? Did you tune in? And did you say, how am I feeling today? What's going on? What was the first thought that you had this morning? Was it something positive? I actually woke up in the middle of the night and it's like my mind went off ding, ding, ding. Oh, forgot to pay a bill. So I got up in the middle of the night and paid a bill. I mean, it's interesting when we have quiet, what brings forward in our minds. So did you tune in, and what were the feelings that you had or thoughts? Are you in a place of change, transition? Because right now we're headed into the fall, autumn, and so that's a change of seasons. So sometimes what happens when we have the change of seasons is our our biology, our systems are ready to make a move into something new. So are you ready to make a move into something new? Because if you are, why not it be one of your 5 humongous goals? Now, today in New York, I don't know where you're coming from. I hope you like and subscribe to this channel. In New York, yesterday we had a whole day of rain. I don't know what your weather's like where you're coming from. Please write in the chat and tell me where you're coming from. And, because you know what? I'd love to hear from you. Hey, Tanika. Hey, Grand Rising from Detroit. I love it. Blessings and abundance of light. I love it. I love it. Have you been working on your intuitive abilities, your clear senses? I know you have. Have you created your ball of light today, or are you going to? Hey, Elsa, you're joining us? Oh, there's Elsa. Elsa, you want to get in your little pillow? You love that little pillow. Come over here. Sit on your little pillow, girlfriend. This is little Elsa. Elsa's going to be in October. She's literally going to be, I believe, 9 years old already. How fast did that happen? I had a dream the other night that I'm going to have more little puppies, little Havaneses. I hope so. Okay, so did you tune into your heart? How are you feeling? When I say tune in, what do I mean? What kind of impressions are you receiving when you tune in, when you ask your heart, whatever that means to you? Are you feeling like, wow, I'm excited for today? Like, was that one of your thoughts when you woke up? You can see a sentence of it. Today's going to be a wonderful day. Or did you have something to look forward to? Or are you in a place where you're going through a rough patch, like we all do from time to time? And if you are going through a rough patch, what is this circumstance from? Where did it come from? And why are you feeling this way? These are all ways to kind of discover more about ourselves and bring awareness to ourselves, because, out here, it's like we have no control, and really it's all other people's perspective. And if you are a nonconformist like I am, I'm trying to figure me out, my mind, my body, my heart, my spirit. So today we're going to cover topics like, which realm are you living in? Tap into potential, psychic advancement. And so, which realm are you living in? I use the terminology all the time. I say the angelic realm, and I go like this, and then I say the physical reality. So, which realm are you living in? Now, a realm is like a kingdom, a civilization, an empire, a region, a land, a territory. So the physical realm, let's start with that. Which physical realm are you living in? Like, what's your perspective of where you are physically? Like, for me, my perspective is I'm living in a nice little suburb, and I have this little home, and this is my physical realm. However, I'm here and it's not taking control over me. I'm here and I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my thoughts, my words, my actions, and I'm creating alignment. And that is how we reach our potential. So a non-material realm might be the angelic realm. And we've touched on that because we've said activating your third eye. So what goes on in a non-material realm? Well, that's an otherworldly realm. And so it can be accessed by higher consciousness. So the reason I'm bringing this up, the reason why it's important is, can you distinguish between the two? So the physical realm is very common for us. We were born into it. So you know what I'm going to say, the structures and the systems. And so the physical realm, it's more or less about material stuff. It's about what you look like, what kind of job you have, what kind of car you drive, where you live, and that kind of stuff. That's the physical realm. And that's wonderful, and that can be great. However, you must have some kind of inner life going on, an inner life. And so that's why I ask about the question, which realm are you living in? So for me, I think I jump back and forth between the non-physical, the non-material realm, and the material. So the non-material realm might be what we consider a higher consciousness, a higher awareness. And why is that interesting right now? It's because a lot of change is going on in the world, in the universe, in the galaxy, and it's related to the spiritual world, the otherworldly. What does that mean? That could mean, like what we talk about, your senses, your six senses, your five senses that you were born knowing, because that's what we were told. But then you have the sixth sense, the knowing. You have a sixth sense. So we're going to become more aware of the two realities that are going on, the two realms, because the physical realm is great if you can adapt to that and you feel comfortable in that. However, if you're moving into realizing and having awareness that there's something else that exists, let's make it more common and acceptable for us to talk about this. So this is about the advancement of self. Now, are we going somewhere else? No, it's going to be here. It's just a different way of perceiving the world. It's a different perspective. And that perspective is all about having self-confidence, unconditional love, accepting yourself, peace on earth, and participating in understanding yourself more and more. So when you understand yourself more and more, that means that you actually have an advantage, because a lot of those beings out there aren't really tuned in, are they? Because if they were, they'd all be talking about what I'm talking about. So when we tune into ourselves, we can tune into ourselves, and we can tune into others. We can tune into our environment. And all of these are baby steps. But before you know it, if you ask for it, it will come into your life. Like I say, ask for angels and they will come into your life. I say, ask for whatever you want your destiny to come forward. I say, ask for advancement of your sensory capabilities. It will come into play. Now, the spiritual realm, the ethereal realm that I speak of, I see in my third eye. Now, I know I say this, I don't know why, but I guess to me it's over here somewhere. But when I tune into my third eye, when I activate my third eye chakra, which is, anyone can do it, we can all do these things. It's not just me. We all have an intuition. It's like when you were a kid and you said you went off with your friends, and those kids wanted to jump off something, or they wanted to climb something, or they wanted to do something that was adventurous. And you said, oh, I don't know if I can do this. It was like your intuition was kind of coming in, and your intuition can guide you. It can guide you. Sometimes when we're in dangerous circumstances, or things are going wrong, or you have like something suddenly happen, whether you realize it or not, your intuition takes over, because your mind cannot grasp everything that quickly. Your intuition, you have a flow that's going on within you. You have an energy flow. Now, when you tap into your energy flow, we're going to talk about tapping into potential. When you tap into your energy flow, you literally can climb mountains. You can adapt quickly. You have a memory that you would not even imagine. You have cells within you that are becoming activated, the more you become aware, the more you accept yourself, the more you believe and trust, the more you will find out that you haven't even reached your truest potential. We are about to head into finding our truest potential of self. You have that. You have many abilities that you have not even recognized yet. It's exciting. This is an exciting world that we're living in and an exciting time. Now, some say there's 10 worlds. I'm saying right now there's 2. Or maybe, there's the astral realm, which might be also the non-material realm. And in that world, in that realm exists angels, those who have passed, God, otherworldly beings, and they come and go. They come and go. I've seen them come and go. They've communicated with me. I've seen them in my dreams. I've seen them right before I head off to sleep. I've had lucid dreams. I don't know if that's occurred to you. And so these 10 worlds, these 10 realms, there's a lot going on. Now, Buddhism refers to 240 conditions of life. And these are degrees of enlightenment. So what kind of realm are you living in? Probably depends on your enlightenment. Now, if you're not enlightened, if you're not awakened, then you might just be in the material realm, the material reality. However, as I say, you can ask to be awakened. And how do you achieve that? How does that happen for you? It happens by partaking. It happens by asking. It happens by looking beyond the walls of the room, beyond what is here that we can see with our physical eyes. It's about tuning into all of your senses. And we're going to go through the different clair senses in a little bit. So now the Bible says realm is where God operates, where heaven and earth intermingle, God and man, the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven, where God is king. So there's some different perspectives, but I'm just going to go right now with the non-material realm and the material realm, the physical realm, because that's enough for right now. Now, if we want to go further and we want to really connect with ourselves, we are going to have to do a little bit of exercises, a little bit of activities that you wouldn't normally do to tap into your potential. You have personal energy that flows through you. And we are going to release that energy so that you can understand yourself a little bit more. The more that you ask questions, the more that you accept, the more that you love yourself, the more of you will become evident. It's almost like part of you is hiding because it wasn't safe. And it's safe now. So let's open up to all of ourselves, to your fullest capacity to be something. You're going to develop for the future. You're going to be ahead of the game. You have talents and qualities and abilities that you have not tapped into yet. Whatever you wish. Now, when I say crack open your beautiful glowing light in your heart, that's because it's all there already. We had this at birth. We are incarnated on this new earth, Gaia, and everything was there. But can you imagine if you take a little animal and you put it in a cage? What happens to that animal? It only knows the 4 sides of that cage and maybe the roof, right? The ceiling. And that's what we've been in. We've kind of been in a cage. So that animal only knows it can't go beyond that. It doesn't see beyond that. So let's look beyond the walls of the cage together. Let's tap into your potential. You are going to perform your highest self. Now, how do we start with that? We're going to start by having alignment. I speak of alignment. Now, when we have our thoughts, our words, and our actions, and it takes time, it's not going to be overnight. You're not going to say, oh, I'm going to match everything. You're not going to match everything right off the bat. It has to be something that you're conscious of. And it takes time. And then sometimes you fall off the track because something happens that you don't expect. Life takes over. Something comes into your life. Maybe it's a loss. Maybe it's not as serious as a tragedy, but maybe it's something that for a little bit of time, you go off in another direction and then you forget about alignment. So let's come back to thinking about alignment. So when I say thoughts, words, and actions, alignment, what exactly is that? If anyone doesn't know, it means that if I'm saying self-love, then I better heck be in self-love. If I'm saying, oh yeah, if I'm in a group of people and everyone in the group, because I'm conforming, is saying one thing, then I better best be doing that one thing. That's alignment. You can have alignment that's not actually generous to yourself. Because if you're conforming, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. You have to go with what's good for you. So when I say alignment, let's practice our thoughts. So when we wake up in the morning, your thought, what is your first thought? What is your intention for the day? What is your commitment to yourself for the day or the next task that you're going to do? Is it going to be you wake up and you're like, oh, okay, now my first thought. Sometimes we don't remember to say that, but what's my first thought? Okay, my first thought is going to be, I'm going to go to whatever it is I'm doing. If your activity is you have to go to your job, your occupation, you have to work on a project, you going to the gym, you're meeting a friend, you have to take care of your children, whatever it is, the intention, the thought, positive, your best self, the best version of you, all of you. Engage with all of you. So your first thought is, I'm going to do a great job at that. Or I'm going to be my best. You're going to try. Now, I'm not saying we're perfect. We're going to do our best. Whatever your capabilities are, your best. So that's going to be your first thought. And then your words have to match that. So you're going to have to say that. You can't turn around and say, oh yeah, forget that. You can't blow it off then or laugh at yourself and sabotage yourself. And then your actions, again, have to be in alignment. Now, this takes time. It's not, you have to be aware of it. Now, if we're bogged down with a lot of stress and we're a little lost and we're a little confused, maybe we're in a toxic relationship. Maybe we have a lot of drama around us. Maybe someone in the family is going through something and we have to help them. So it's difficult. It gets more and more difficult. I'm telling you the easy peasy way, which is everything goes according to plan. But if you have stuff that you have to be responsible for, sometimes we fall off the tracks. So get back on and get in your direction of your destiny, because you were born on this new earth Gaia in this beautiful world, this magnificent place of those elements, nature, the birds, the trees, the water. And there's so many lovely beings of light out there. If you haven't met them yet, like people, like attracts like. Are you finding your people? We've spoken about finding your people. I'm here. I'm one of your people. I'm here. I'm supportive of you. You're worthy. Doesn't matter what you have. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter what you do. You're worthy. Your being, your light in your heart, your spirit is worthy. Know that. So have self-confidence. I say, look in the mirror. I love myself. I accept myself. Are you doing that? Do you love yourself? Now, we have shame sometimes for stuff that we do and stuff that happens. Or we have something that we regret. And how does that make you feel? It makes you feel like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. Well, when you don't look at stuff, guess what? It blocks you. It blocks you from your destiny. So look at it, accept it, own it, and move forward. Because that's how you're going to get to your destiny. Now, I believe Your destiny is something that was within you the moment you were born, because you were your bestest, truest self. You were pure, you were innocent, you were lovely, you were vulnerable, you were a breath of fresh air when you were born. And so you had all these gifts. It was just getting to them and knowing that you're wonderful. So as we tap into our potential, we're going to accomplish our dreams. We're going to realize we have a different personality than we thought. Maybe all the skills you had are going to magnify. So for me, I can share with you that I was somebody that I had all of this that I have today. However, life crushed me. I had suffering, I had trauma, I had near-death experiences, I had some really toxic beings around me. And so I was crushed. I was shy. I didn't have a voice. I had to go to voice lessons, speech lessons. I needed therapy. I had a lot of growing to do to get back to where I was when I was born. But I always had it. You always had it. So let's accomplish these dreams. Let's allow this to surface and flow. The energy flow through you. Let's unblock whatever is stopping you from getting there. If you're not conveying or expressing your thoughts, your word, whatever's going on with you in a relationship or in your life, you need to journal. You need to tell someone, share with a friend, because then you'll be blocking your truest potential. We always need to have self-expression, and we need to tune in and accept our hearts. Now, not everything is going to be right for everyone. These are suggestions. Now, if you ask a friend an opinion, you better know, you have to think, when I ask that friend what they think, what their opinion is, are they me? Do they think like me? Do they dress like me? Do they look like me? Were they born into the same family? All of these things, and you're asking that person for an opinion. Think about it. Now, if you're looking for someone to yes you, okay, you need some support. But if you're looking for a real opinion from someone, just know that they're coming from a completely different perspective. They're coming from a completely different world. And are they in the material realm, the physical realm, or are they coming from the non-material realm of a higher consciousness, an expanded awareness? So know what you're doing here. Be careful. It's a slippery slope. I bet you have most of, if not all, the answers within you. It takes some confidence. How do you build your confidence? Do something you're good at. We speak of your three authentic characteristics that make you, that no one else has. There's no one else like you on this planet. There's no one else like you. Don't kid yourself. So you have probably 100 abilities that you don't even know about. But we'll go with three. Three things about you that make you wonderful. You decide. And then you stand on that. And that supports you, and that makes you feel good. So if you're having a moment that you don't feel good, you go to one of those three characteristics that make you special, that make you feel good, that make you feel worthy. Because no one out there is really going to do that for you. You have to do it. If you can't do it, no one's going to pick you up and hold your hand and walk you through life. Yes, you can ask the angels to lift you up like I have, but let me tell you, you're going to have to do all the walking yourself. And guess what? You can do it. As we say, our mantras, I am strong, I am brave, I am courageous, I am powerful, and I'm safe. And you're safe in your heart. If you don't feel protected, if you don't feel loved, you must cherish yourself first. Because if you can realize how great you are, then you're not going to let anybody take advantage of you or disrespect you or not realize your true gifts. I say unconditional love has no time limit. If someone says they love you, is there a time limit on that love? Does that mean that if you do something they don't like, will they stop loving you? No one's perfect. Everyone is imperfect. That's perfection. Okay? So let's accomplish our dreams. These are not actually realized until you accept all of yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, trust, believe it's possible. Now, I know it's a hard call. It's a hard concept to grasp, to just believe, because you don't know. It's kind of like you're walking around in the dark. I have no proof. I have no proof. But isn't that what believing in faith is? Isn't that what that is? You don't have any proof. There's no proof. You're just going to have to trust and have a knowing. You have a knowing. So when we're going to change and shift and tap into this new potential, we have to have a new mindset. And with this new mindset, we're going to have to change our thought patterns, change who we hang out with, change what we do. And maybe it's going to be, you're going to pick one of your 5 humongous goals and work towards it. I've spoke of quantum leaping. How do you do that? Quantum leap, right to the timeline, right to a higher consciousness, right to a new dimension. How do you do that? It's all your mindset. Because if you think you can't do something and you laugh at yourself and you sabotage yourself, you can't. You can't right then. But later on you can. If you circle back, you can do anything that your mind comes up with. You can do it. It's very powerful. Thoughts are powerful. That's why when we work on our clair senses, we work on our clair abilities, we realize that when we receive an impression telepathically from someone else, and when we tune into someone else, it's only because there's feelings and emotions attached to whatever that is that they're thinking. It has a vibration. So that's how strong thoughts are. Consider that. So let's achieve the best for yourself and fulfill your potential. So we're going to tap into our potential. We're going to tap into the potential in the spiritual realm, the non-material realm, and the physical realm. We're going to do both. And so when we bring light into this material realm, like I do, that's because there's a lot of really positive aspects to that. That's giving you clarity, focus, concentration. You're tuning into your senses. It takes time. We're going to work on that. What you're feeling, your sensations. Now, if you were told, don't feel, stop it, because people expect a lot of us from the time we are incarnated on this earth, but they don't really realize emotionally it's very difficult, because people expect, be quiet when you're little, be quiet, follow this, do that. It's all in that box, in that cage, like a little animal. We're in that little cage, and there's only 4 walls, and we have no power. And so then we are trained. We're little animals that are trained to follow the rules, not feel anything. If you feel something, what do they say? You need medication. If you are acting out or you're expressing yourself, you're too loud. Go over there. So we're going to kind of open up ourselves in a way that we really weren't trained to do. If you were born into a family that everybody was free and open and allowed you to blossom, then that's completely different. You are very lucky, because that's not what was conforming. That's not what was happening for a long time. People have been told what to do, and they have to follow rules. So we're going to kind of break out of the rules. We're going to kind of become a rebel. I'm a rebel. I think I'm a rebel. You're going to become a rebel in your thoughts. It doesn't mean you're going to go out there and cause havoc. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying in your own thoughts, you're going to open up and allow yourself to be yourself. That's it. Just be yourself. And I accept you for you. So to psychically advance and work on your sensory capabilities, it's a process, and it's not difficult because you already have it within you. So you're really just allowing it to come out. And so we are going to find our way back to ourselves through sensory, through our senses, through our impressions. And we're going to have a willingness to believe. So we're going to bring ourselves back to our senses, to who we really are, the truest version of us. We're going to allow that to happen. We're going to have patience. Like I say, I am patient. That was one of my affirmations. I am patient. I will have fun, or I am fun. That was another one, because I want to have more fun. Don't we all want to have more fun? I do. Shouldn't we wake up every day and not think work, work, work? We should think fun, fun, fun. Let's have fun. Life is getting shorter, right? We want to say, as we get older, we want to become more happier, don't we? As we get older, are we supposed to learn something? So our knowing, our sixth sense. We have our five senses, right? Sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. And our sixth sense is knowing. And that's one of the clear senses, basically in a nutshell, knowing. When you have clear sense and you're open to it and you accept it. Hey, Tommy, how are you? Hello, how's it going in the country? Good morning. It's 11:30 here in New York. So when we have this knowing, which you can consider it telepathy, ESP, extrasensory perception, because you have extra perception, extra senses. Now, it's really not extra because everyone has it. They just have to accept it, have a willingness to accept their senses. And so let's go through them, because I relate to this, and we discuss it a lot, and then we're going to do some exercises, and I'm going to share a new one with you today. But I want to go through it just so that we can identify them and we can be really clear. And then you might be able to say, oh, Mary, this is my clear sense. So put it in the chat if you know. Like, I'm going to tell you which ones are mine. I think I have a little bit of everything, but I have some that are much stronger. And maybe they're actually going to magnify the more that you really tune into yourself. So when I say tune in, let out a breath. Okay, you turn off all your electronics, you go into a quiet space, you close your eyes, and you have stillness. You release any tension in your body, and you allow yourself to have stillness. This is how you're going to adapt the clear senses into your physical reality, into your spiritual reality, into your heart, mind, body, spirit. We're going to do it together. All right, so clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is intuitive sight, which means it's a sense. You can see spirits, you can see entities, you can see other realms. It's like the most common word for clairvoyance. Hey, good night, Raymond. Good night from here. Good night, Raymond. Night. Thanks for joining us. I hope you liked the video today. So clairvoyance is really probably the most common. They say clairvoyant, clairvoyance, and that's going to be, you have an intuitive sight. So in other words, you can see things beyond this existence that we can see when we open our eyes. You can have a knowing about information that you have no way of finding out. It just comes to you. And so you might receive messages in the form of symbols, and you might have visions. You might be someone who will, be riding their bicycle, and all of a sudden, it's not a daydream. That's not what it is. It's more like you see something, and that's your third eye activating. And you might see a location, you might see a person, um, you might see numbers, or like for me, when I read someone, I see different animals, I see different birds, I see objects. So I might see a pair of glasses, and it usually is related to somebody I know. Like the one day I was having, I think it was like a nightmare, and I saw, and it was actually, it was clairvoyant because it was a premonition. I saw a bracelet, and the bracelet broke, and which is a sign of a broken relationship. And it's not like I'm seeing the person, I'm just seeing the object. And so that you might be clairvoyant. So let's figure out what you are. Are you clairvoyant? Are you are you are you capable of clairaudience, which is hearing? And I've mentioned that quite a bit because that's something I am. So I will hear. It would be like I'm doing the dishes, and all of a sudden I hear something, but it's not in my mind. It's like coming from out here. It's hard to describe. It's in my third eye, and I hear it like it's a very strong impression of it. I hear something, and maybe it's somebody talking. It might be uh, something dropping to the floor. It might be the screech of a tire. And so I don't know. It's in another location. I never really know where it's coming from, but that's clairaudience. Maybe you hear voices of, someone who's passed. You might be walking along with a friend, and you've become so adapted to this whole clear senses and so open. Maybe the friend's grandmother or relative speaks to you, and you're like, where's that coming from? And at first, there's the cardinal. At first, you're not going to understand this. It's going to be completely confusing, and that's normal. It's going to be completely normal not to know what the heck is going on, because we weren't utilizing these skill set. So when you have clairaudience, it's something that's not present in the physical reality. It's going to be something else. It's like, oh, is that in my head? Is that over here? And you're going to hear a message. It's going to be external. It's coming from outside. These are just, we're going through. So clairvoyance, clairaudience. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe and tell me where you're coming from. I know Raymond was coming from Thailand. Tommy's coming from the country. Tanika's coming from Detroit. I'm in New York. And so I want everyone to just be really clear on what these different clear senses are, because then that way you can identify it, and then that way you're actually moving faster forward. And you're not kind of in the dark, and I'll just do the hard work for you, right? I'll find everything out, and then we'll talk about it. So does anyone have any of these clear senses? Clairsensitinence is the ability to feel sensations or emotions, and they provide you guidance. So it's vibrational. You receive and send messages, words. And so that means that you're going to feel something, and it could be like you go into a location and you feel something from the location. You might feel like sad, you might be happy, you're receiving information from an outside source, and it's affecting you. You might be hearing something, you might be understanding something that you wouldn't know. You might go into a friend's house, and you might get a feeling about something that just happened. Like your friend got very upset on the phone with someone, or they were really happy. You're going to get a sensation. You're going to sense it. You're going to have a knowing. It's always about knowing, and there's no direct physical source. It's coming. It's from another realm. It's from activating your third eye. So clairvoyance is feeling, clairaudience is hearing, clairsustenance is feeling, and clairempathy is knowing empathically. So it means that when you're around, they say an empath too. Clairempathy is like an empath. So it would be your mom had something happen to her, and maybe she had an ailment or something. She had an issue, and she was not feeling at her best, and you could tune in without realizing. Being clairempathetic, clairempathy, you could realize everything that she was feeling without her even telling you, and she also sensed it. When you have these clear senses, especially the clairempathy, the other person realizes it because you're connecting. Your feelings and your emotions are connecting. Be aware of that. And so that can actually be detrimental, because if you're not protecting your energy, you're receiving all of that and it's staying within you, and you're not sad or you're not upset. It's good if you're happy, but if the other person is in a negative place, you're going to receive that, absorb it, and it's going to stay with you. So be aware of that, because like, what if you walk into a crowd of people and all of a sudden you went like, oh, I don't feel good now. It's because you've absorbed all of the strangers or the people's emotions, and everyone's going to have all different emotions. So be aware of this. This is all to bring awareness and clarity to your mind, body, spirit, heart. Okay, so to protect yourself, like what I do when I go to church, it's a lot of people. I automatically think of like light circling me all around me, a circle of light around me, and then it's gone. I don't have to worry, because it stays with you. Sometimes something will break through that, and then you have to do it again. So clairaudience is hearing, clairsentience is feeling, clairempathy is also feeling. So this is something else I didn't realize. Clairgustinance. Do you know what clairgustinance is? Clairgustinance is tasting. So you taste something that's not there. So it might be you've tuned into someone, or you're around someone, and if your clair senses are open, you've opened up and you've accepted yourself, and now you're just basically not a raw nerve, but you're just so open that you go somewhere and you're with someone, or you're at work or wherever it is, and all of a sudden you taste something and it's not there. So someone around you had that, or they had been eating that, and you just got that sense, or a memory comes through. I don't know if you've ever had that happen, where out of nowhere you taste something and you're not eating, and it's like a memory. It's like a memory jolt. Something came through. It was like a memory of a taste. And that goes along with smell as well, which that's happened to me, the smell. So clair alliance is something, you smell odors. There's no physical source, which is kind of freaky, right? You go somewhere and then you smell something, or maybe it's from a memory, like the same as the clairgustinance. And you have a memory, and so it brings forward a smell, like someone's perfume, someone's body odor, maybe the smell of a home, maybe the smell of food. So just be aware, because we're trying to decipher what your clair senses are. Now, you might have touch on a little bit of everything, and you might then zone in, and you might be able to tune in and have one real extraordinary gift, or maybe many. Everyone's going to be different. It's all personal. We're not going to have the same clair senses. whatever your DNA brings forward, it's going to come through. So there's no practical explanation for this. It can be said that this is not true, it's not possible, it's all made up, whatever. That's fine. That's their perception. I'm saying for me, I believe this. I have a knowing, and I know certain things, and I was not giving any information. And you have that too. That's what I'm going to believe. So you're suddenly knowing something from nothing. From nothing. It's not given to you. You're not possessed. You don't possess it. It's not like you read it in a book and then you just know this. All of these clear senses are going to aid you with telepathy, with being able to speak without moving your lips, receiving information long distance. It's possible. We're working on this. So intuitive activation will occur within you. It will occur because there's more light coming onto the earth, there's more people being awakened, and you're actually being shown and given information that is outside of what you were taught. It's all coming out. So you will activate your intuition through self-confidence, acceptance, having an open mind, and a willingness to believe. So know that. Willingness to believe. So we're going to stay focused during telepathy, and we're going to practice tuning in. And I shared with you yesterday that I did the ball, the ball of light, and I spoke about it. And we're going to do that in a bit. And my friend, a close friend of mine, told me why it didn't work. So I'm going to show you her way. And then she actually went into a trance, which I found fascinating. And it's interesting, like, I don't understand, I'm not thinking what I do is out of the ordinary, but when I see someone else do it, I think, wow. And so we can create energy outside of our bodies. We can place energy inside of our bodies in light, doing visualizations. We can visualize so much more than we realize. We have an amazing mind. When it's expanded and brought awareness, there were so many gifts within ourselves that we don't even realize that we're capable of. So when we go into a trance, so maybe you will go into a trance, like I mentioned my friend did. So a trance is going to be, she's receiving, it's like kind of channeling, if you want to say channeling. It's a trance where you're receiving information. Mediums do it when they speak of, if they speak to you of, they tune in to a relative that's passed, and they have that ability, they're clairvoyant, and they have ability to speak of someone that they don't know. Maybe they talk about their names. I'm not good with names. They say, oh, Johnny, Uncle Johnny was, a bearded man, and he was, wow, he just had this laugh, and the medium describes the laugh, and she's in this trance. And then she talks about where Johnny worked or what he did with his life and how you knew him and how he treated you and that kind of thing. That's a trance. Maybe doing this work, you're going to realize that you will go into a trance. It just means that you're tuning in a very, very specific, extreme way that is very clear and it's very specific. And can you do it? Yeah. I mean, when you do the stillness, where you go into quietness and stillness, you're kind of going into a little trance. If you write down information, when you do oops, I always drop those. When you do that psychometry, which is token object reading, you might go into a trance. So you might say, and so a trance is basically your really channeling information. And so the information is coming to you from another source, a higher realm, a higher source from that person. And so you're just talking and you're speaking and it's flowing through you. The energy is flowing through you. And so that might occur for you. And they're going to be specific impressions. And when we speak of impressions, what does that mean? An impression is going to be what you're interpreting it, how it's coming to you. So it might be, an impression might be, whether it's you're doing a token object reading, I got to remember that token object reading, and you're tuning into someone across the room, and you're getting whatever you're receiving information from about them, impressions. It might be that you see, oh, well, we'll say it's a woman. Oh, she's very lighthearted. She has this jovial laugh. She is very stringent on her spending. Like, there's certain information that you're going to receive, and that might be how you tune in. That might be the impression you receive. Everyone's going to receive this information differently, different gifts. And so your way might be, you just receive information in pictures, or you might receive them in symbols, or you might receive them in stories, numbers. It's just symbols. It's just going to be different for everyone. You might hear everything. You might hear that person's conversation when you tune into them without even talking to them. You might know their voice. You might know what their parents look like. So just be open and don't disregard anything. Nothing's random. So every personal object carries a vibration, just like our words carry a vibration. And the reason it carries a vibration, like I've said, is because there's emotions attached and there are feelings attached to everything. So for example, like, here's this cup. If someone who was going to read me, if I went to a clairvoyant, a psychic, and he was going to read me, and they took this cup and they went, oh, what kind of impression would they get? Maybe they'd say right away, oh, this is something that this person drinks from this cup every day. And they might describe what I look like. They might say, oh, she does a lot of talking when she has this cup, because I do. She might say, oh, a butterfly, because that is symbolic for me, because I'm always transforming, like we all are, and evolving. And I used to call myself Blue Butterfly. So there's a lot that can come from every object, is my point. You don't even realize every single thing that you have. If you dump out your purse, if you're a woman, you will say, wow, this. It's not as simply as this is a cup you drink out of. There's a lot you can receive from an object. Now, we can say, where is the source that all this information comes from? It comes from a higher source. It comes from oneness. It comes from God source. There's a place that all information is stored. Maybe that's where it comes from. It comes from a higher consciousness, a higher self, because we're all connecting. So imagine that each of us has, we do, I don't know if everyone knows that there's cords that we have that come from our hearts to everyone else's hearts that we come in contact with. And it's very important that these are positive cords, because when you're attached to someone and the cord that goes to your heart, if that cord becomes sick, you become sick. And the relationship, I'm saying, if the relationship is sick, then it's hurting your heart. And that's how we get broken hearts, because the cords that are attached to our hearts from the person that we're in the relationship with has injured us. And so let's imagine, I'm just bringing up cords. Let's imagine that we all have cords that are attached to our crown chakra, and they go up to the heavens. And we all have these. And so what if this cord that's going up to the heaven from our crown chakra is clear? then we can receive the information. And how does that become clear? When we come to a higher consciousness, when we accept our total being, our mind, heart, body, spirit, we accept nothing less except being cherished. We are sacred beings of light. We continue to have that circle, the invisible line around us, 12 inches from us, that no one's allowed to come into physically, emotionally, spiritually, unless we give permission. We are sovereign beings. We have free will. We were born on this earth and we had what's called free will. We are sovereign. We don't have to give permission if we don't want to. If something does not feel good, it doesn't resonate with you, if you don't feel comfortable, then don't do it. Say no. I don't want to right now. And go off and figure out why and rest. Now, has everyone rested lately? Did they rest over the weekend? We had that long weekend. Did you get a chance to rest? I know I did. Sometimes when it's, rainy, wet weather, you want to rest and you want to cuddle and you want to eat food, certain foods, and maybe you don't want to do anything, and that's good. It's good to just rest our bodies because our bodies need time to re-energize. And because we're becoming awakened and we're moving to a higher consciousness, we're using more of ourselves in a way that we haven't. And so our light codes within our cells are becoming activated. And so the DNA blueprint that we each have is coming forward. And so we're going to need more time to rest. Anyone who's joining me, please like the video. Sound like a little advertisement. So there's no practical explanations for any of these intuitive gifts that you have. But it doesn't really matter, does it? Because we know inside our hearts exactly who we are. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Now, when I do work, like when I do a reading, my third eye will open. It's been activated. And what impressions do I receive in my third eye? Have you worked on activating your third eye? How do you do this? Will you ask for it? You spend time in nature. You spend more time living in love. So that means that you think more cherishing thoughts about yourself, about others, about kindness, acts of kindness and compassion, and you forgive. We become injured, like I mentioned earlier, and you maybe have a broken heart, and you might have had 10 broken hearts in your life. You might have had someone do something mean to you when you were 5 years old, and you stored that memory inside of you because you've been imprinted. You have a trauma imprint from that. And someone hurt you when you were 5 years old. Maybe someone beat you up. Maybe someone called you a name. They insulted you. They criticized you. Whatever it was. If you can go to that memory and you can embrace that memory and whatever hurt you, because you will take away the fear and you will take away its power. Because all of these impressions that have hurt us, these traumas that have hurt us, that have given us a broken heart or anger or any of the low vibration like anger, fear, sadness, pain, if that's happened to you, a memory, you want to go to that to clear yourself, because we have to clear our traumas to move forward. You want to get to your destiny, that beautiful destiny, that place you're supposed to be. You have to be clear for it to manifest. Because yes, you'll take steps. You realize like, oh, I'm closer, but you don't have it yet. You still can't see it clearly. It's still in the distance. You know what you want. Well, why can't you reach it yet? Because you have to clear your traumas. So you want to go to the memory of something that broke your heart. or someone that hurt you. And when you clear it, that means that you embrace it and you accept it. Because if you accept it, then you're going to be more indifferent to it and it has no power. Why do we need memories from when we're 5 years old to take power over us right now? Right now. Who wants that? I want to be clear so I can get to my destiny because I have so much that I want to do. Don't you have so much you want to do? So let's clear that. We have to allow ourselves to not care what other people think. And when we do that, we don't care what anyone else's perception of us. If we allow other people's perception of us to block us, then that means we really don't love ourselves and we really don't accept ourselves, because there's always going to be someone who doesn't like us. I'll give you an example. I did that interview and it was on, they call us channelers, and it's on the International Spiritual News Network, ISNN. And it got likes and it got views. But then in the comments, I read the comments and it didn't matter that there was 10 nice comments. The 2 not so nice comments hurt me. And they are someone I don't know wrote this. I don't know who it is. And it definitely hurt me. And it made me doubt myself. And it made me not accept myself for a moment. And then I kind of had to go to that why. Why is that bothering me so much? And it wasn't about those 2 people's comments. It was about my past. It was about being criticized in the past for not being good enough, for not being nice enough, for not being good looking enough, for not being smart enough, for not being all these things that I'm not enough of. So I have to accept that I'm enough, just like you have to accept that you're enough. You're worthy as is. So if someone, a stranger, has a different perception than you, does it really matter? Are they paying your bills? Are they buying your food? Are they taking care of you? If they are not doing any of that, then they really don't have an opinion that you need to take in. So you let the other perceptions of what other people think of you, it doesn't matter. Who cares what anyone thinks? Just trust yourself, accept yourself, love yourself. You know all the answers, they're within you. So as we realize the realm that we're living in, which one is that? Are you living in the material realm, the physical realm? Are you living in the spiritual realm? Are you jumping back and forth between the two? Are you in the 3D and the 5D back and forth dimension? The 3D dimension is the cage that I spoke of. You're the little animal in the cage, and there's only 4 sides. Someone's looking over you and telling you what to do in that cage. They're directing you. Take the walls down from the cage. And when you do that, you become more aware. You realize there's another reality out there. There's many possibilities. You know, this isn't the first civilization. There's a lot of civilizations that have been started over. And if you look at what's going on in the world, you realize we're about to start a new civilization, a new empire. There will be new, I hope not new leaders, but new people that are going to be directing everyone. Now, we can create the new reality with our consciousness, because my thoughts and your thoughts and the next person's thoughts and the next person's thoughts create oneness and consciousness, collective consciousness. So which realm are you living in? Are you only living in the material realm? Are you only believing this is the only reality? Do you have any spiritual thoughts? Do you consider that there's another reality out there, another realm, a higher consciousness? You can expand your awareness through meditation, through visualizations, through spending more time in nature. So let's tap into our potential. Let's release our fullest capabilities, and let's work on our sensory activation, our clairsenses. So I'm going to do a visualization before we go, because we hit the hour mark, and I'll be back again tomorrow if you're not staying for the visualization. I will be back at 11. I don't write on the post what I'm speaking of, because I found that it messes with my algorithms. My algorithms in social media seem to be messed with quite a bit. And if I say what I'm talking about, then it seems to mess up this. There's glitches. So anyway, moving forward, I don't care. That's not my stuff. I'm here right now speaking to you. And I want good things for you. And I want love and light. Oh, we forgot to do the ball of light. I forgot. Should we do that quick? We're going to do the quick ball of light. Okay. So because I have to go, I have to tell a suggestion too. All right. So I'm sorry. All right. So here we're going to do the ball of light, and then I'm going to give a suggestion to work on your telepathy. And then we'll do a visualization really fast. Okay. So as I shared with you the other day, my close friend, she said, Mary, guess what? I can't get the ball of light. And I said, what? And so we did it together, and we worked on it, and we tried another way to just, it's just a little tiny bit different. So we're rubbing our hands together. We're taking our hands away from our body. Now, why are we creating this ball of light? We're creating this ball of light to work on our focus, our concentration, and bringing light outside our bodies in this physical realm. Because when we bring light into this physical realm, we're bringing light onto the earth. You're a light worker. Okay, so you're rubbing your hands together, and then you're going to separate your palms. And we've decided that the way to do this that works for more, because she told me, is to separate your hands, and you should have some kind of vibration. Okay, so rubbing your hands together. I'm going to do it like this so you can see. And then you're going to separate your palms, and you're just going to keep your palms straight instead of curving them like you're holding a ball. And then you should have a vibration on your palms. Okay, and that seems to be an easier way to start. So your hands are together, and your palms are like this. Okay. And so we're creating a ball of light. And then if you feel like you feel the sensations, anyone who's watching, please tell me if this is working for you. And so then you might curve your hands and create the ball of light. And that's what she did. And when she did this, all of a sudden she went into a trance. And she gave me the impression. She gave me a premonition. So it's very interesting. So everyone's going to have a different way, a different sensation. So here we go. So here we have the ball of light. Okay, so I have this ball of light here, and you can open and close it and expand it. Okay, and so what happens to you with this ball of light? We can be quiet for a second, and you can just tell me what you receive. And then I'll go into my third eye. Anyone who wants to write in the chat and tell me. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to just go like 30 seconds, a minute, and be quiet. Okay, for that short time, did anyone receive anything? Like, it would be a fast impression. Don't think about what it was. You just had an impression. There was something that came into your mind. If you can release any old thoughts and beliefs, and you just tuned into what your ball of light did for you. So for me, it was kind of similar to yesterday, which I saw like a frequency actually coming off my ball of light. So it would be like looks like a little bit of like kind of lightning, coming off, or, just in a small way, some kind of frequency coming off of my ball of light. I didn't really tune it. That's what it, for me, that's all that's happening. For you might receive something completely different. And I also have to adapt different, I guess, different sensations. I have to adapt different clear senses for different exercises. I basically do the same thing over, and that's how it works for me because that must be the easiest. So that's what you're going to go with at first. Before you start to advance too fast, you want to just tune into exactly what works for you, and it will be evident. So I'm going to go into my third eye and see what I see. So I see right away, I'm going to just say exactly what I see. I see a fence, a white fence, and then I saw forward a bridge. So there's a fence that's in front of me, directly in front of me, but then beyond that, you go straight down and then there's a bridge. So I would say that the bridge represents, you know, a direction that I'm supposed to go into, because it's almost like, what is that? Is that perpendicular? There's like a mathematical symbol that's like a line with a line going through it like that. So I would say that there's something blocking me, or if not, I have to go through something to get to that bridge. So this is again in the country. This is grass. So this might be, well, it's obviously, I say country because I associate, the grass and the farm and all that with country, but it could be almost anywhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be the country. There's grass, like there's a big field, but it does feel like the country actually. Okay. So what else? Anything else? That's very, very strong right there. It's basically giving me evidence of something I should pay attention to. So I'm going to say that that's a vision. That's like a vision. I think that that's something that's present right now. We can decipher between past, present, and future. When I do a reading, I say, do you have a question for me, past, present, and future, after I read them, after I give them all my impressions that I have. And so you can learn to do that too. Okay, I'm going to put my hands together, and then I'm going to tell you one more suggestion. So as you know, I've been reading this book. And so this book gives me like a lot of different techniques about telepathy and the ESP and clear senses. And it's really valuable because there's not a lot of this out there. So I'm sharing information with you because I don't know if you have the ability to reach the information I'm getting. And I've also been doing this for a while. So this exercise, we've talked about the different exercises. We talked about going into stillness. We talked about stretching your body all the way, your torso up like a rubber doll, all the way to the moon, and stretching. You're stretching. We talked about tuning in. We talked about doing the object. What impressions do you get from someone else's objects, their token object. Now, here's another one. Oh, we also talked about receiving information from another location, someone sending it to you. We spoke about sleeping target. I called it sleeping target ESP or something, where someone can actually send you information while you're sleeping. And that's why I spoke of psychic attacks. Well, here's a new one. The new one that I have is, so this is what you do. Here's the steps. So lay in bed, it doesn't have to be in bed. You can lay on the couch. You can lay wherever you want. You can lay on a grass, on a bench, whatever. Now you lay down and you lift up you're going to do this with each leg. You're going to lift up your leg, your right. Let's start with your right leg. Drop it down. Like it's dead weight. You're going to do it with the right leg. Then you're going to do it with the left leg. Then you're going to do it with each arm. And then you're going to focus all your energy on the middle part of you, okay? And you're going to just focus all your energy. And then in front of you, you're going to imagine seeing a white movie screen, we'll say, a white, huge screen. And you're going to tune into the screen. So it's going to happen in that order. And what do you see on the screen? So I did this last night. And I've only done it once, so I did this. And what did I see on the screen? Now, it takes some it takes definitely focus that we've been working on with our ball of light. And just speaking of this, and what did I see? Well, interestingly enough, I saw like military walking, and it looked like it was, uh, you know, it looked like it was the Germany, the walking in the Germany. I don't want to say what it is. And then it tuned, all of a sudden I saw like, and that it was war. It was representation of war. And that's what I heard. And then I saw, uh, it was like during the Civil War, and it was war. And I was like, whoa, what is that? So I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if it meant that the world is at war, in some sense, if it was a metaphor for something. What's if it's to come? I'm not really quite sure. It was very strong, and so it kind of, you know, not upset me, but it was not disturbing, but I was just surprised because it came out of nowhere. So I want to say, what was that I saw? What was that impression that I saw during this exercise that I did for my extrasensory perception? And I would say probably it was something maybe that we're all going to go through. Maybe you could take it. It's not necessarily out there. We're going through a physical war. It might be we're all going through a war within ourselves. There's a lot of different ways to take it. But why don't you try that exercise? If you're joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and tell me where you're coming from. And just try it is all I'm saying. And I'm going to try it again. What we want to do when we do any of these exercises is to take our thinking out of it, take our mind out of it. Leave that. You want to just tune into your senses. Even if it feels weird, it's going to feel weird at first. And like I said, who cares what anyone else's perception of what you're doing is? Because you're working on yourself. Your thoughts, words, and actions matter. Your intuitive abilities matter. Okay, so we're going to do a visualization because I'm way past the hour mark. And so what are visualizations? Visualizations are a way of bringing calmness into our spirit, stillness. It's a way of bringing light into our system. I say crack open that beautiful. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video. It's a way of cracking open that beautiful glowing light that's in your heart. And it's a way of tuning in, and it's activating your third eye. So these visualizations are helpful, or I wouldn't do it. It's all leading us somewhere. Hey, firstborn, peace, love, and light from Detroit. Thanks for joining us. Happy Wednesday, September 7th. We were just covering which realm do you live in, tap your potential, and psychic advancement. And now I'm going to be doing a visualizations to bring light into you, so we calm our spirit. And if you're not joining me, I'll be back again tomorrow at 11. I hope you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'm wishing you good things. I support you. I'm here. I'm a constant. Blessings. We will create vivid mental images in our mind's eye, bringing us positive emotions such as joy, happiness, and hope. Our intention today is to visualize yourself in a better mental state. This is valuable if you're feeling unsettled or distressed. Your nature visualization begins now. So please find a quiet space, sit or lay down comfortably. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to breathe out anything before this moment. So you're going to let go of any thoughts before this moment, any emotions, any feelings, any beliefs, nothing it's not serving you right now. So we're letting this go for right now. So your nature visualization begins. So we're going to now inhale and exhale 3 times together, and I'll do it with you on a 12 count. So I hope that you feel a little bit more peace within your being. If you have any stress, let's release it. Any tension, any thoughts. And I'd like you to do a body scan and just check for any tension. You might want to let out a breath. Breathe in some fresh air. Breathe out. If you need to speak any words out, anything that's bothering you, let it go. So now I'd like you to imagine the most glorious nature scene that you can imagine, and it's your choice. Whatever you'd like. It's a vibrant visual location, and it's beautiful, and it brings joy to your heart. It gets you excited. It's going to be whatever you want it to be. Maybe it's a waterfall. Maybe it's a beach. Maybe it's a field of flowers, a field, mountains. It's vibrant and it has details, and your senses take it all in. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? Can you smell the fresh air? So all the colors of nature you're going to sense, and you're going to connect with it, and you're going to feel the freedom, and you're going to see the beauty, and you're going to touch it. What temperature is the air? You're going to feel the sun beaming down on you. So let's remain in this moment, and let's remember this nature scene, because it's your personal nature scene that will bring you joy. It brings you joy. Whatever it is, it's up to you. It's beautiful. So you're going to look forward in the future, and you're going to utilize this nature scene whenever you're not feeling happy, whenever you're not feeling content. If you have anger, sadness, fear, hurt, you're going to go to this nature scene in your mind, and you're going to just see it and feel it and be it. And then you will feel emotionally and physically better. So let's breathe out stress. Let's breathe in joy and new beginnings. It's a new beginning. So remember that scene. I will count backwards to 3 and you will open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. So thank you for joining us. Now utilize this nature scene. If you're in a situation that you are not feeling well, go to the nature scene, because it will change the chemistry in your body. It will. If you're tense, you will not feel tension because you're going to joy. Whatever you choose. So I say once in a while during the day, remember the nature scene, even for a second. And you know what? You might go through a period of stress or anxiety, and you need to utilize this nature scene. You might be with someone that causes you a lot of upset. Go to the nature scene. It will shift the energy in the room. You will be surprised. And then eventually you might not need the nature scene anymore. So I'm going to spin light, and I'm going to remind you I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm spinning light counterclockwise, and then I'm going to go clockwise. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video. And you're in the middle of this light that I'm spinning, and you're making a wish. What do you want? What is it that you desire? Make a wish. Something that you want to attain. Maybe it's something in the material world. Maybe it's something that you want to change in your personality. You want to go on a Caribbean vacation. You want a new car. You want a different job. You want a new life. Whatever it is, you decide. Make the wish. And I'm sending it to you. And I'm wishing good things for you. And thank you for staying with me. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll be back again tomorrow. It's Thursday. Have a wonderful day. Be well. Spend time in nature. Bye.